Hello again and welcome to video number 6 about learning Azure Machine Learning. Today is the second video about descriptive statistics. Yesterday we saw an introduction and today we're going to talk about the mean, the variance and the standard deviation, which are crucial to know how to analyze the data we have at our disposal. So let's suppose you have a set of data and somebody asks you, what's your point of view on these numbers, please? What would you say if you only have a big data set? The best thing to do is to start with the mean, probably, no? So what's the mean? Is the basically is the average is the one number that best represents all of these data points. So it's the sum of the numbers divided by the number of data points. Okay, right? But it's important to know also the variation, and that's defined with the range. And that's basically the maximum number minus the minimum number. But the the range depends a lot on the numbers we have. If we have outliers, so numbers which are either too high or too low, then the range maybe it doesn't mean anything to us, right? So we should probably investigate a little bit further. So for that, we have the mean deviation. So the mean deviation is basically when we have the mean, is the distance between each number and the mean, as you can see on this slide, right? Then we have the square mean deviation. So variance is probably the second most important number to summarize in this set of data points. We will see it in the next slides. So if we go back, so the variance is the summatory of the mean and it is divided by the number of occurrence. And finally, we have a, an improvement of the variance, and that's called the Bessel correction. So it's subtracting in the dividend minus 1 in the number of occurrence and the number of data points that we have. If we do this, the variance will be further closer to the real value that we are trying to get. So mean and variance summarize a set of numbers. So as you can see on the screen, we have the mathematical formulas to get the mean and the variance. But don't worry, you don't need to learn this. In the next videos, we are going to use some Python libraries that will allow us to calculate this without knowing the real formula behind it. The only thing you need to know is what it does, basically. So we also have the variance with the correction and the standard deviation, which is really important to analyze our data. Then let's talk about outliers. So outliers are data points that either too high or too low from the median. As you can see on the screen, we have an outlier on the right because it's too far from the average. But how do we detect outliers? We saw this in the very first Python video, but I didn't give probably a proper explanation. So the interquartile range is where 50% of the values are. So that means from the 25 percentile to the 75 percentile, that's the 50% where all the values are located. Everything outside there, it's what we can call outliers. And how do we calculate this? So after you have the Q1 and the Q3 or the 25 and the 75 percentile, everything outside can be an outlier, and that's the interquartile range. Then we have the median. The median is basically the 50th percentile. So that means when you get the median, 50% of the values are on the left and 50% of the values are on the right. if you interpret it with an histogram like this. It's important to know that median and mean, they are not the same. They are usually very close to each other, but they are not exactly the same. And that's important to know when you are doing the analysis. So, and I think that's it for this video. In the next videos, we are going to go a little bit deeper, but I think that with this video, mean, variance, and standard deviation is very clear where we are heading to. So I hope you like this video. I hope you find it informative, and see you in the next one.